A death toll that doubled in just a day. Typhoon-hit Myanmar is now reporting more than 220 dead after being pummeled by Typhoon Yagi last week. The storm was the worst to hit Southeast Asia in recent years, leaving large portions of its central provinces in ruins.
A living nightmare for hundreds of thousands who have been wading through streets that have turned into rivers, their homes also underwater and their belongings destroyed. In some areas, floods that have persisted for days are still neck-high. Closer to the capital Naypyidaw, villagers are desperate to save their crops from large areas of inundated agricultural land. The United Nations now says more than 630,000 people are in urgent need of help. But aid agencies in a position to do so are struggling to reach the hardest hit areas, most of them in remote provinces. Before Typhoon Yagi, millions were already suffering from more than 3 years of war. The International Federation of Red Cross says the ongoing conflict is hampering relief efforts.
We now see that this is a compounded effect for these populations who are already extremely needy. It's very challenging for those populations at the moment, and they have needs in terms of access to health, which was already restricted, access to clean water, access to a shelter, and access to recovery for their livelihoods.
In urban areas, cars and trucks carrying volunteers are going through flooded villages, deploying bottled water, clothes and food. But more needs to be done.
And it's also extremely important for the international organizations to work very closely with the local organizations. So they're the ones who have a lot of the local community knowledge, who will be able to access the communities who are the most affected and the ones on which we rely on very closely.
India was the first to heed when the military government made a rare appeal for foreign aid. Delhi deployed 10 tons of supplies over the weekend. Last year, Myanmar suspended humanitarian access after being pounded just as bad by Cyclone Mocha. Many areas remain isolated, raising fears that a slow recovery from Typhoon Yagi could plunge Myanmar deeper into a humanitarian crisis.